Welcome back to the channel. My name is Ryan, and today we're discussing the Kansas State Wildcats football schedule for the 2023 season. And last year, you couldn't really ask for much of a better year. You won the Big 12 title game, you made it to the Sugar Bowl, you lost to Bama, but you had a great year overall. And throughout this year, I was talking about, at least to my people, my friends, before I was doing YouTube, talking about how I think Kansas State was the best Big 12 team. And they're like, well, it's TCU, of course. Well, that got proven a little bit wrong in the Big 12 title game, to an extent, at least. But I'm very excited. If you're a Kansas State fan, I'd be excited if I was y'all heading into this year. One thing I want to mention before this is that Deuce Vaughn is now in the pros. And he was probably their best player. I'd say he was short, but that dude was the most agile player, I think, arguably in the country, because the way he could just get and go. If you don't watch any games, watch the Big 12 title game, and also watch the game against Oklahoma last year. Him and Adrian Martinez ran through everything. But they're not going to have Deuce Vaughn, but they're going to have Will Howard. Will Howard showed signs of being pretty good at quarterback. So I think he'll fit pretty well with this offense, especially if they actually start passing the ball a little bit more, because I got some stats here. They were last in passing offense for the Big 12, but also first in rush offense in the Big 12, which is kind of strange if you think about it. It's like, how are you so bad, like passing wise, in the Big 12? They're known for passing, but you're so good at running the ball. Well, Kansas State didn't throw the ball an extraordinary amount. They threw it 27 times per game, 28 times attempts, and that's last in the conference. So you don't throw a lot, you don't get as many yards. It's pretty typical. It's pretty simple like that. But one thing to mention is that their defensive ranking in the Big 12, they finished third. They finished in third in the total points. I think they allow like 20 some points per game. I'll pull that up if I can. But they were pretty good defensively. That showed they got some key stops. Main one is in the Big 12 title game. Cannot relate to that a lot because that was big plays makers were shown throughout that game. But yeah, they allowed 21.9 points per game, which is pretty much 22. That's still a good average to hold them to. If you're interested, Iowa State's number 1 and Texas is number 2. So then there was a huge drop off. But it showed on the goal line in the play in overtime. In overtime, Max Duggan tried to get in and they tried to run the ball, and it just didn't work. It got stopped. Great goal line saved by Kansas State. But we'll stop talking about in the last year. We'll start talking about this year. I have high hopes for Kansas State, and I'll go through it here. First up, you got home versus Southeast Missouri State. I got you beating Southeast Missouri State. Starting off the year 1-0. Couldn't ask for anything better. And then next up, you're at home versus Troy. I think Troy will be it will not be a tough game. You're going to win that one. So I got you beating Troy. Then you're at Missouri. Last year, you destroyed Missouri. This year, I think it'll be a little bit more difficult. I kind of like this Missouri group. I'm debating back and forth kind of on this game. I think early on in the year, you might slip up against some teams. And against Missouri is one of them, because they're not bad. They're not a bad team. I think they got a little bit better from last year. And it's at Missouri, and you can't tell me that Missouri's not a little bit of a tough taste to play at whenever you see what happened last year with them against Georgia. But this one is going to be a close one. I think it could go either way, but I'm going to give the edge to Missouri here. I think they'll make enough plays late. I think the crowd's going to be in it, and I just don't see them blowing them out like they did last year. At least it's not going to be like that. I got Missouri winning this one, so I got Kansas State losing probably in an upset at this point. Unless Missouri's 2-0. That'd be kind of impressive. They have a chance to be. They really do. Next up, you're at home versus UCF. I think you will beat UCF, so you're 3-1, and then you're at Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State does not look that impressive. You know, out Spencer Sanders, I'm not going to look any much better. So I got Kansas State winning this one. So right now you're 4-1, then you're going at home. You're going to Texas Tech. Tough game. Very tough place to play at. I think it'll be a very close game. And this one can go in your way again. And last year you had some close games. Some of them went in your favor, some of them didn't. This one, I think Texas Tech might be able to barely beat you out. I got Texas Tech actually winning this one. I like Texas Tech. So I got you losing to Texas Tech. And the following week is against TCU. This is your revenge week from the losses you're going to have against Texas Tech and the loss they had last year in the regular season, which you pretty much already got your revenge. You beat them in the Big 12 title game. I like TCU's team. I like Chandler Morris. I like JoJo Earl, Trey Sanders, all of them people coming back. But Chandler Morris is only coming back. You got the transfers from Alabama that I mentioned. So this game could be close again, but it's at Kansas State. I very much, if you can't tell with our other videos, if you've watched any of them, I favor usually in close games a team that's at home. So I'm going with Kansas State here. I think they will beat TCU. And then you're at home again against Houston. I got you beating Houston. And yeah, I think that'll be a pretty big win for y'all heading into this week at Texas. And Texas is not an easy team to play. But again, I got questions with Texas, mainly with Quinn Ewers when it comes to the idea of how his shoulder is going to be. But also his consistency is so up and down. He's had great games before, but also he has terrible games like the one he had against TCU and stuff like that. And the TCU is not a great defense. Either was Oklahoma State, and he sucked against them. So, but he also performed very well against Oklahoma. It's strange how this guy works. But I think it's going to be a very close one against at Texas. You have a lot of tough road games. Let's be honest. You have a lot of tough games. This one, if I was kind of debating, the last time I made a video about Texas, I think it was about 2 months ago. So my opinion might have changed since, and I've not checked back. But I think that Kansas State is actually going to win this one. I've seen too many times that Texas loses big games in big situations. I've seen that too many times. I think Will Howard will play a very good game. I think Kansas State will be on point today in that game. I got them upsetting Kansas. Kind of upsetting Texas, possibly at this point. So that's another big win for them. I think you'll catch your stride around the midway point after TCU. The TCU game on. You'll be on your stride. Then you're at home versus Baylor. I got you beating Baylor, and that one I'm not impressed with Baylor right now. Then you're at Kansas. Watch out for this one. This team looks pretty good at Kansas, but they have really good starts and then kind of finish off pretty bad. I think that'll continue this year. I got Kansas State winning this one. And then you end off the year at home versus Iowa State. I think these Big 12 conference teams will have a very tough battle on who's going to make the Big 12 title game between Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas State, Texas Tech, and TCU. I think those are the main ones. If someone else makes it like Kansas or Baylor, that'd be insane. But those are teams that the main 5 teams are looking at to possibly win the conference. And right now, this game would be huge in that situation against Iowa State because late in the year, you got to get a win. I think you'll blow out Iowa State. I'm not impressed with Iowa State right now since Breece Hall's left and like Brock Purdy. I think that was about a year or two ago. They had a bad year last year, and I think that might linger again. So I got Kansas State winning this one. So I got Kansas State going 10-2. Well, if you're looking at a rematch of last year's Big 12 title game, might be, might not. Depends on again your conference losses. Like this one, you only have one, and I was against Texas Tech in my opinion. But you can get some in your favor, some go against you. Like the one against Missouri. If you win that one, then you're 11-1 possibly. If you beat Texas Tech, maybe you're 11-1 too. But also you could lose the games like Texas. You have the TCUs. Luckily, you don't have to face Oklahoma, even though Oklahoma's not that great. You did beat them last year. So who am I to talk to say that you're scared of, like not scared, that Oklahoma's good? Who am I to say that? So yeah, leave down in the comments what you feel about this. I know it's close to the season, but I've been trying to get this video out, trying to figure out a good time, and I need to do it now, so I'm doing it. But yeah, hope you all have a great day. Stay safe, y'all. Put down in the comments what you want, whatever you want to talk about. Hit the like button because this helps out the channel. Subscribing also does too. We're on the road to 100 subscribers. We're hoping for the best. I hope that happens. So yeah, thank all y'all for watching. Have a great day, and God bless y'all.